Good morning, dear students. Myself Priyanka Pawar. I welcome you all to the next lecture of Insect Physiology and Biochemistry. Today, we will start with the new chapter that is Hemolymph, and topic is physical characteristics of the plasma. So, let's start. The insect has open blood vascular system. All insects are characterized by possessing an open type of blood vascular system in which the blood flows freely within the body cavity. The body cavity of insect is called the hemocoel and the blood is called hemolymph. This hemolymph is a colorless to grayish yellow fluid containing hemocytes, which is organic and inorganic compounds. There are many physical properties of the plasma. The let's study them one by one. The first is color. Plasma is colorless or greenish yellowish fluid. If you see any insect, their blood is colorless or greenish to yellowish fluid. The second physical property is specific gravity. The specific gravity of hemolymph ranges between 1.01 to 1.06. It varies slightly with sex and developmental stages, etc. The third physical property is hemolymph volume. The hemolymph forms up to 5 to 40% of the body weight of an insect. The hemolymph water comprises 20 to 25% of total body water in insect or in adult insect, but in the caterpillar the figure is 50%. Then the next is hemolymph volume in insect is not constant. When dehydration or physiological stage of development and other factors can cause large fluctuations in hemolymph volume. So volume may even fluctuate daily with the food and the water availability. Reduces the hemolymph volume of the cabbage butterfly, that is Paris, by about 70% in the hours following inclusion. Okay, so an important function of hemolymph is to provide a reservoir of water to sustain the levels of the water in the tissue. So, hemolymph volume in insect is not constant. It is depend upon the dehydration, physiological stage of development, and the other factors which causes the hemolymph volume. Then the fourth physical properties of the plasma is pH. The great majority of insect, their pH is between the 6 to 7, but in a few insect have the hemolymph that is as alkaline as pH 7.5. So the majority is pH have 6 to 7, but in few insect there is pH is 7.5, that is alkaline in nature. Then the measurement within the same species may vary by up to about 0.7 pH units. There is no strong correlation with the sex, diet, stage of development, or taxonomical position. So the pH is 6 to 7, and the measurement within the same species may vary by up to the about 0.7 pH units. There is no strong correlation with sex, diet, stage of development, or the taxonomic position. So they do not cause the pH of the plasma. Then the greatest change occur with the metamorphosis. During the pupal stage or sometimes just prior to the pupation, there is a slight increase in the acidity, but usually no more than about 0.3 pH units. The fifth property is hemolymph buffers. The hemolymph buffers remains reasonably stable during the life of an insect, which suggests that insect regulate the hemolymph pH. In the locust and grasshopper, this regulates the hemolymph pH in at least two different ways. First, by transfer of acid equivalents to the gut when acidosis is caused by the titrable acid. So, it is a natural situation, might be accumulation of an organic acid from metabolism. And second one is by increase the ventilation of the trachea system when acidosis is caused by an increase of carbon dioxide in the hemolymph as in vigorous muscular activities. So uh, there are two insects, that is one is locust and second one is grasshopper, which regulate the hemolymph pH in the two different ways. First is by transfer of acid equivalents and second one is by increase the ventilation of the tracheal system. Then the next is hemolymph buffers. Buffering in the hemolymph of Cystocera gregaria at 20 degrees Celsius, the pH is 7.31. When carbon dioxide is held constant is provided by the first is bicarbonate 20, protein is 10, inorganic phosphate is 1.6, organic phosphate is 1.5, citrate is 0.4 and the amino acid histidine is 0.1. It is in milli equivalent per liter per pH unit. So thus nearly 90% of the buffering capacity in the hemolymph of these locusts is due to bicarbonates and the proteins, with a small additional distribution by inorganic and the organic phosphate. The sixth property is osmotic pressure. The dissolved inorganic and organic substances in the hemolymph contributes to the osmotic pressure and the specific gravity of the hemolymph. The hemolymph generally has a osmotic pressure expressed in freezing point depression of about 0.7 to slightly over 1 degree Celsius. This is a slightly higher on the average than that in a humans. The osmotic pressure in a number of species and in different developmental stages of the same species is not correlated with the age, sex, developmental stage, diet, or systematic position among the orders. So, the osmotic pressure in a number of species, they do not correlated with the age, sex, developmental stages, diet, or systematic position among the all the orders. So we stop here. The remaining part of this chapter we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.